Hey friends, I'm back for an author chat, and author chats are one of my favorite things because you get to hear directly from the people that write these books that make you smile, cry, laugh out loud, and believe in love again. Today, we have a lovely and funny duo whose spicy rom-coms have hit all the charts, really, and they've written nearly 50 books together, and they're Max Monroe, or better yet, Max and Monroe. They are a duo, and they show me every time they show up. They really are on their favorite adventure thus far, writing soulmates and creating this fun, sexy swoon that they felt was missing in the world. I'm excited to have them with me today. Welcome, Max and
Hi,
Monroe.
thanks for having us.
It is such a pleasure. I have read a few of your books. There's almost 50-50.
There's a lot, yeah. I think
So
it's, like, nearing 60 at this point. It's so hard to say, but we stopped counting at a
yes.
certain level, but I do know it's, like, over 50. It's gotta be approaching 60 at this point, but I yeah.
We're going to talk about all kinds of things, writing and how you balance things as moms, because you do write several books that come out, multiple books a year. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know how you do, how you do all the things and writing separately, but together, right? So I want to dive all into that. But for those that are meeting you for the very first time, can you share your origin story, how you came to be, your journeys, to that landed you to where you are now?
Definitely. Do you want me to take this?
Sure, you could start. I'm sure we'll wrap in.
Yeah. Well, this is going to age us already. So, what, back in 2013, um, Max and I were both writing, self publishing on our own under completely different pen names. Um, and we had met through well, back then Facebook was the place to be. So we met through like some Facebook like author groups and stuff. And we just kind of became fast friends. And then back then it was very popular to go and do like small signings in different cities, similar setup to what is available now, but um, it was very popular as indie romance authors. That was kind of an important way to get your name out. In terms of like advertising and marketing, there wasn't as much of that as there is now. So we had met in person several times, hung out together, and we just, it's like we just were kind of on the same wavelength. Like we're completely different personalities, but at the same time, we balance each other really well. What was it, 2015? We were probably yeah, it was 2015. We were both kinda going through, like, a hard personal season, and one of us was just like, "Why don't we write a book together just for fun? Let's just" it's just something fun. Um, we still don't really remember who said that. So it was just kind of like a joint thing that we just decided to do. And we started writing this book, which is now Tapping the Billionaire, and it was just, like, the most fun we had ever had. We were just passing the book back and forth and kinda it's almost like the goal was just to make each other laugh and, we just were having the best time with it. And, yeah, so we decided to publish Tapping the Billionaire under an anonymous pen name because we both had um, we had readers under our own names, and we didn't want readers to go into reading our first book together with, like, expecting what we had done on our own. Because what we're creating as Max Monroe is just it's something different. It's us together. So that's why we went with, an anonymous pen name at the time. Nobody knew who was behind Max Monroe. And yeah, now here we are, almost 60 books later, still writing together.
Mhm. Yep. It's funny because, we we decided to be anonymous for ourselves, for our readership bases, and for really just the fun of it, because we wanted it to be a fun project, not
Mhm.
necessarily one with expectation. No matter what, once you're involved in a writing career and you have readership, they have certain expectations. They if you're funny, they're gonna expect you to be funny, and there are different things that they are looking for. So, we just were having fun, and one of the fun things that we decided to do at completely at random, we started our Facebook page, again, really going back to the yesteryear where that was just what you did. That was it. We
There
didn't
was
have
no
any
other
other
platform.
social platform profiles. It was just a Facebook page. And we were the only people on the page. And we put on there as a joke, that we could be anyone. We could even be Colleen Hoover because the only thing we said is that we were established romance authors, which was very true. Um, and then,
That it said disclaimer,
under
we are
that, it said disclaimer, we're not. We are not.
Oh, people don't read disclaimers, right? The
yeah.
fine.
Well, we were using completely this is I don't even know how this ended up being the thing because it's completely tangential to us putting that on our page. We were not thinking like this, but one of our editors we were using is Colleen's sister Murphy. Um, and she ended up showing Colleen because she found our page, I guess, that message on there. I mean, we were the only people on there. We didn't know that anybody was looking
Following
at it
it.
or anything. Well, Colleen took off telling people that she was us. And we chased her around the internet telling people, "No, we're not. She's not us. We're not Colleen Hoover. That's not." But once people got that bug, they believed it. And I mean, I bless her because obviously it made people curious enough about us to go buy that first book. Um, and it's been
Was
such
actually the first person to read
yes.
Tapping the Billionaire besides her sister Murphy. She had read the book and she went on an Instagram live talking about the book. Um, we hadn't published it yet or anything, and we're like,
Yes,
"This
this
is"
fun thing that we were doing at random
Yeah.
got taken to the next level, which obviously we're so thankful for and is such a blessing, and we
It was,
enjoy our
yeah.
career so much. And people have stuck with us because thankfully, I guess, let the readers decide, but we can actually write a book. It wasn't just some uh, marketing ploy. So, yeah, but we were beside ourselves because our fun thing suddenly was like, people think we're her. What a disappointment it's gonna be. So, we actually revealed ourselves for the first time because she invited us. She used to do a huge event, called Book Bonanza for many years, a charity book signing, and she invited us to that first event and said, "Would you want to come to this and reveal yourselves here?" We did. But
We did.
man, we just leaned into it all the way because how else do
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh my gosh, people are gonna be like, who are they?" You know? So we had tissue packs that said, "Sorry, we're really not Colleen," which has become a running joke anyway because they looked like maxi pads, but
Yeah.
they were tissues. And, I think our banner even had a disclaimer on it talking about, not being Colleen and we're sorry. Because
Yeah.
people really believed it.
I know.
And she was your first ARC reader.
Yeah, she was. Like, it was a wild ride. I remember was it me or you that had seen the Instagram live that
I think you saw it.
you would see people commenting on those, like, "Are you Max Monroe? Are you Max Monroe?" And she was like she said that she had read the book and I about fell out of my chair.
Yes. Yes. We were anonymous for, I think about 2 years. We
Years,
used to wear
yeah.
Sia wigs, which my
In our
husband just
photos.
found my wig the other day. He was going through all of
Yeah.
the stuff, and he was like, he said, "I thought it was a rodent at first,
I'm sure.
but it was my Sia wig." Anyway, but I mean, it was a whirlwind because that we never expected. I mean, people were like sleuthing, trying to figure out who we were. At one point, they dug up Monroe's address from online, like from like a business registration thing, like not. And I mean, so it got to where we were like, this is intense.
Yeah. Oh, for your first book, I'm like, it's not even published, right?
But it was much more
Crazy.
innocent back then on the
Yes.
internet, though. Like,
Yes.
looking back on it, ooh, that now would be very scary.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. Oh, so
Listen,
that
there's
is a
another
wild
part
one.
of our story that happens at a strip club too, but we won't talk about that one.
That'll be a follow-up episode.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're you were both different, occupations
Mm,
before becoming full-time writers, right? Can you talk about what you were doing before and when you decided, "Okay, we're doing this full-time?"
yeah, I was a labor and delivery nurse, so I had been a nurse for about a decade, I guess, before, um, we started making writing our full-time career, and it just it became something that was so big that that was actually just the right decision, luckily. I mean, I we feel blessed in that for sure. That's essentially what happened. It was like the work was so much and it was doing, there was success there. So, yeah, I ended up quitting my nursing job and just doing writing full time and here we are. Who's going to age me 10 years later, I think.
Be 10 years.
And yeah.
Yeah, that's what so I'm the weirdo in the story, not necessarily a weirdo, but the one where I call it a weirdo because when I look back, I went to college for meteorology. I have my degree, so the weather. Ironic that I've been trapped in my house for 2 weeks, and that was my career of choice. But I have been with my husband since we were 17 and we got married the summer after college so and he worked a very, very demanding job, 80 hours a week, pretty standard. And we had really like heart to heart conversations of that my job options were overnights, weekends, holidays. I was going to be working anytime that he wasn't working, which was very little to start with. And he said, that's really not my ideal scenario. Obviously, this is going to be up to you, me. He's never been the type that would make that decision for me, but um, you do what you want to do, but I would rather you be home. So I was working odd jobs in the sense that I worked at a gymnastics gym because I had a history in gymnastics and I was coaching cheerleading for high school and I was doing a lot of random things, but nothing that was going to be demanding of my time in the way that it would have been if I had fully pursued what I went for my degree for. And after I had our first son is when I started writing for myself under my own name at home. I guess that ages me too, that it was that long ago and that but but I started writing on my own and really more as a hobby to convince myself I could do it. And um, it's funny that it's such an opposite direction from what I did my schooling for and spent all that money on. But I'm a hobby meteorologist still, so it's good
I
for
love it.
something.
Yeah, I love it because your journeys, right, of this is something that I wanted to do for fun, and you're just gonna do it and then see where it goes, and you just kind of follow it. And I feel like a lot of my life journeys have also been very similar in that sense. My YouTube channels were a COVID baby that I went, you know what? Yeah, we're both working from home. The kids are schooling from home, but I'm just gonna do this thing because I need a creative outlet. I look at spreadsheets, I do finance stuff by day, so I need, this other creative outlet, and I love food, I love travel, I love books, so it just came to be, and then as it morphed into more, I get to talk to you all, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
great example to people that there's no box, no matter
No,
what you think you were gonna do with your life, you can do something completely different, and
you
it
can't.
could lead you to a place that you never dreamed of. I mean, I never would have thought we would be where we are with our career and
No.
success level, and um, the the fun and joy it has brought to our lives and the, honestly, how right of a career it is for both of us having not started in this place at all. So I think that's encouraging for people. You maybe didn't find your thing yet, and that's okay. You're allowed to completely do a 180.
For sure.
And I'm wholeheartedly with you on that discussion with your husband of, do we really wanna pursue these things that we're not gonna see each other, right? I feel like that has been a conversation for us too. We were in Silicon Valley for a long time, like, you know, it was and then we ended up moving to San Diego not too long ago because we went, "Is this how we wanna live our lives? Is this how we
Yeah.
wanna raise our kids?" Not to say that wherever you move, those same kinds of demands can't be there too, but it's definitely been a conversation in our house of what do we wanna do.
Mhm. For sure. I mean, and that's the blessing with working from home, with what we're doing. You have more flexibility. That doesn't mean that you're sometimes the flexibility is not gonna fit my morning session in, but, when the kids are in bed, I'm gonna work. Sometimes that is the flexibility. There's a give and take there, but it does allow you to be more present with your kids, which has always been a priority for us, when our families come first, and that's usually how we make most of our decisions, related to what we're gonna do, deadlines, books, all of that, trips. Our family comes first, so there's a huge blessing in that because 'cause I've experienced the other side. Nursing is more the corporate 9 to 5 side of things. You generally work 12-hour shifts, but you gotta be there. Sometimes you're on call, and that can be really hard with kids because sometimes someone gets sick. You only have so much PTO. So I have a lot of sympathy and understanding for the moms out there that are dealing with those obstacles when you have kids because it's very difficult as a
Mhm.
mom.
Mhm. It's a funny thing because I wouldn't say we work less hours, that's not the case at all. We work those 12-hour shifts, but we can fit them where we need to fit them, and
Yeah.
that really is a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we talk about how you navigate it? Because you don't live you're at least an hour, 2-hour flight away from each other? I don't know
Yeah.
how.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Thank
so
you
you're
for
writing
knowing
together.
that.
There's a lot of technology nowadays, so,
Yeah.
get on calls, you can, do, like, Google Docs or whatever it might be, so you can work together, but you both have teenagers and young children, so and especially when your children are home for 2 weeks because of weather, right? How do you kinda set these boundaries, or how do you work, at home when you have a screaming toddler? I remember
Yeah.
we were talking ahead of time, and you have one child that is a screamer, right? And,
Yeah.
like, to be around you.
Gloria.
So, how do you balance that and do the writing?
I mean, I think most is I'm gonna speak for women, right? Most women with children, and demanding careers can relate to that. It is always an ongoing struggle or, evolution, finding the work life, home life balance. Um, I think it's something we're always working on, trying to be better at, and better at in a way of where we are not expecting ourselves to juggle every single possible responsibility in the household and in the career, and giving ourselves grace in the moments where sometimes there's a bad day. Sometimes maybe you're not feeling well, maybe you've got a sick child, maybe there's just appointments and stuff going on. There's lots of reasons that we all have, a rough day where things don't go the way they go. And we've been really trying to give ourselves grace in that. I feel like it's something that we finally are getting to where we're actually, practicing what we preach, so to speak. Um, in terms of like juggling writing between the two of us, I mean, a lot of it's pretty intuitive, which might sound kind of wild to somebody. We tend to just be kind of on the same wavelength. We have like a loose plan of if we're passing a book back and forth, I'm gonna keep it for 2 days, then she'll have it for 2 days. We just use Word docs. That's what we do. Very, very simple. We've tried Google Docs, but it's failed us before.
Mm.
Never again. So, I mean, I think between the 2 of us, we really try to balance in, the workload is kinda split between the 2 of us, but there's always kind of an exception where sometimes I can't carry my workload for that day and she'll step up for me and vice versa. So, balance is the key for us, but I think the other key is giving ourselves grace in those moments where you might not be able to achieve everything you thought you could. Um, I found that if you carry that stress, like I didn't get my word count in, I didn't call the doctor to schedule Gloria's 2-year appointment. If you just keep pounding yourself with that stuff, it's not helping you. Like, it's not healthy at all. And some days you really just have to be like, okay, I didn't achieve what I needed to. Tomorrow's a fresh start and I'll see what I can do then.
Mhm.
So I think that's more of what we have been doing lately.
Yeah. I think it's the balance we've found is that there's no balance.
Yeah.
There isn't one. You could search your whole life for the balance and there's no balance. It's basically like something's gonna give at any given point, and prioritizing what can I let go right now, in order to keep the priority thing moving. And that sometimes is our family, and sometimes that's the workload. Obviously, our family is always a priority, but there are times where it's like, okay, they can manage, and I've got to do the work thing. And there are also times that it's like, no, my family needs me, and then that's going to come above the work. Um, but we have been doing this together for 10 years now, and we know each other on a level where we're both hard workers. We're both going to get our work done. We're both going to be focused. We both have the same goal for the brand, the company, the books. We want the same things. The best product for a reader possible, the best experience for a reader possible. And for it to be enjoyable for us. We both want that. So I think we're both really forgiving to each other more than we've ever been to ourselves. So
Yeah.
we're working on that part.
Yeah.
But if she has an off day, I'm not sitting here thinking, or she.
Doing everything.
I'm thinking,
Carry
"Oh
your weight,
my gosh,
lady.
like, probably chaos central going on over there," and I'm stepping up, and she's doing the same thing for me. It's just that's how we operate, and we're so lucky that we know each other well enough at this point to say, "I can handle this. I know what's going on. I'm just gonna be the person she needs me to be, and she's gonna be the person I need her to be," because at the end of the day, we're friends.
Yeah,
We care about each other. So, we keep that in mind, or we try to.
for sure.
Love that you said that you are more graceful to each other, right? Or you remind each other because we are our own worst critics in everything. And to have that person to be like, no, it's okay. The way we talk to our friends should really be how we talk to ourselves. But
Gosh, we just had a conversation about this the other day. This was something we're both working on, like really honing in on this year. Is like I have found myself when I wake up in the morning, it is like my brain is screaming at me all the things I need to do. I mean, screaming, do this, do that, like to the point where I've had to stop sometimes. Like, what am I supposed to do? This is too much. And it's like, why are we like that with ourselves? Like, and what's the rush? What am I rushing?
Mhm.
That's what we're both trying to, like, just be more mindful of how we talk to ourselves internally
We
because
we literally had this conversation, like, 2 days ago where I was like, "Would you, like, stand over my shoulder while I'm working and scream at me the whole time? Like, 'Come on, like, do it.'" You would never. I said, "Or if your husband was, like, emptying the dishwasher or something, right? Like, she would never be like, 'Empty those dishes!'" But, like, that's what we do to ourselves.
you hit me laughing so hard when you're like, "I would never yell at Craig." That's her husband. "I would never yell at Craig." to brush his teeth faster.
You didn't get that last part right there.
Huh? But I would do that to myself in the mornings. The weight of everything that's waiting would be like, move, move, And I'm like, why am I brushing my teeth like there's a cougar chasing me? I've got to pump the brakes.
Gotta slow it down. Like, I can take 2 minutes. Like, the dentist wants me
Yes,
to
it's a lot of time. They've recommended it.
We all know the moments that we've done that to ourselves, right?
Uh,
And, oh, what a great reminder. Okay, so we're gonna get into the books, but I'm curious how you come up with ideas because maybe you come up with ideas while you're trying to brush your teeth. How do you jot those down? How do you capture, "Okay, this is a future thing."
mhm. Well, it's chaotic how we do that. We have Google Docs with random ideas. Some Google Docs are never to be found again. Like, they are just somewhere labeled something that we'll never know where to find it.
Mhm. Same with
Um,
phone notes. I'm like, it's
Phone
like
notes,
it's
I
yeah.
like
was
the
just gonna say,
tail
I'm like,
end of
I have
the
not cleaned that.
sausage soup recipe, I've got, like, book notes, and then I'm like, "Where is that thing?" Never to be found again.
Yeah. Yes, but we've found both of us do this. We'll get an idea that really we're like, "Ooh, this is something," and we'll mention it to the other person. Now, there's one thing that we've learned not to do for us is that we try not to brainstorm it in that moment. If we are actively working on a different project, now is not the time to brainstorm that. For one, our brain's favorite process is brainstorming a new book. So, when we are in like a revision phase of a different project, our brains will be like, yeah, let's forget about the revisions because that's hard. Let's brainstorm this new book idea. So we've learned not to do that, but we'll at least plant the seed in the other person's mind. Like, I have this idea. It's along these lines. So, like, let your brain kind of think about that. And then when it's time to like brainstorm a new project, we'll revisit. um, so I mean, there's no rhyme or reason of how we get book ideas. It could be anything. I could be at the grocery store. She could be looking at something on TikTok that gives her an idea. We could be chatting about something and then we're like, "Ooh, that's an idea." Um, it just comes from life, usually, I would say.
Okay. So your newest book, I have it, 15-minute rule, and it is a series, book 3 of the series.
Yes.
Can you give a quick premise before I ask my question?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 15-minute rule is book 3 in the Dixon University series, which is a college campus in New York. Um, but it also can completely stand alone. It's just that the group of characters is interwoven. So book 1 is a couple, book 2 is a couple, book 3 is a separate couple. So they all have their own beginning and end stories. So you could pick up any one and start them and not feel like I've missed everything. But the series actually took off for us because it's a spin-off, so to speak, from previous novels. Once again, you don't have to be involved in anything else that we've ever written to understand anything. If you have read them, it's gonna elevate your experience, I can only say, because you're gonna see cameos from people that you know, but, they are still funny interactions regardless, but the premise of the university is the next generation of characters that we wrote 10 years ago,
Yeah.
finally getting their spotlight. People have been begging us for it for years and years, but to us, they've been kids. We had to wait. I'm like, "They're not old enough. They're not old
Yeah.
enough." So, but it's been really, really fun to dive back into those original characters as parents and as, older people that are tangential to the main love story. But this 3rd book specifically is the daughter of our very first, couple, Klein Brooks and Georgia Brooks. And, the male main character, Ace, is the son of our 2nd couple, Thatcher and Cassie Kelly. And, they've been best friends their whole life and they're falling in love. So it's a take on Friends to Lovers, but these characters are wild. They've got
Crazy.
yes. So they're fun to write because they don't really they don't follow a they do the thing they think, where for us we like, that thought's a little extreme. Like let's no, they do the thing. So they're fun to write.
Yeah, like Ace figures out he's in love with his best friend Julia, and then everything in Ace's world tunnel visions to, I'm not gonna tell her I'm in love with her. What I'm going to do is make her fall in love with me. So then we will be together. And he is doing everything in his power to make that happen, including, breaking her air conditioner in her apartment, starting a fire in his own apartment, um, making sure her date is ruined. All the stuff, he's doing it. So it's fantastic. Like it's pining, it's yearning, it's best friends to lovers. It's just, and a lot of humor.
Mhm.
I was giggling to myself. I was laughing. I was like, "Eh, this is gonna come bite you in the butt."
Yeah.
Without spoiling anything, right? Because we want you to read it. It hasn't been out for very long, yet, so we're not spoiling anything, but it is funny. Yeah, I was like, "Oh," and then I wanted to go see it was genius at the end because you do mention, for, the parent stories go back to, the Billionaire series, which I have not yet read, and so I'm like, "Oh, I need to go back to your very beginning and read the Thatch and Georgia and, the
Yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine what that
Oh,
It's crazy.
it's
Oh,
wild. It's
it's a
wild.
wild ride. Yeah.
So, okay, they're college students for I think for all of us, we've talked about dating ourselves, and, it's been a while since I have been in college. So, how do you get yourself back into the mindset of college students as you're writing these characters?
Mhm. I was gonna say, I think the main thing for me is removing the filter of impulse control. These are young adults, frontal lobe not fully developed, and I've always been an old soul, I guess kind of like my oldest son is, and I I was never a party or wild kid, but I said to myself, if I had no impulse control, if a thought came and I was like, that sounds like a great idea, I did it, that's college to me.
Yeah.
Especially fictional college because,
Yeah.
keeps it
I think
interesting.
I just go back to when I was 18 or 19. What would me do at 18 or 19? And usually it's that.
But with a whole lot of money, right?
Yes,
Thrown around.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
add in a lot of money.
yeah, add in a lot of money. Boy, 18 or 19-year-old me, she would have been a problem.
And then Ace's brother, I was like, "Oh my goodness, he is out of control."
Yeah,
But I guess when you have crazy parents too,
for
like, that's what
sure.
you've seen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. And I know there's, um, various characters that show up, and you said they're standalone but interconnected. And so how do you have, like, a plot board, or maybe it's just all in your brain of who goes where, when, timeline of things? Because we talked about fans that really get in those weeds, and they're like, "Wait, that doesn't match, and that doesn't match." So how do
Mm,
you keep them all
yes.
straight?
So I'll tell you a little secret. It used to be absolute chaos for us.
Yeah.
I mean, just every time we were going into something where it was tied to an old world, it was like, "Oh boy."
We better reread that whole
Oh,
book
oh
again.
no. Oh no. But we've since gotten smarter and we actually have a really, really great woman reader who helps us. Every book we release, she makes a Bible for it. So it really breaks down each character, their everything, their appearance, their job, their anything that could pertain to them, something specific, what their family tree is. how they are connected to everyone. Plus, it also breaks down the setting and the timing of the book and the specific dates. She does a great job of letting us know how old people are or how old they would be or when their birthday is if we happen to just randomly mention that they had a birthday party and then we would forget that that was their birthday, but she does a great job of keeping track of all of that so that we can go back and say, aha.
Yeah, this is the eye color.
This
It's
is
usually that. It's usually the physical attributes that can kinda run together, you know? So yeah, we used to try to keep our own Bibles. What would happen is they would last for about 5 chapters of the book,
uh-huh.
and then never to be looked at again. So, yeah, we are very grateful for Christina,
Mhm.
um, 'cause that, whew,
Yeah,
I
those documents go the same place as your notes and your, like, all the other things that can't be found, right?
yes,
Correct.
yeah, like, she keeps us
He
organized.
has it organized, and if
Oh,
you
yeah.
would go back and read, some of our earlier stuff, you would notice a difference, not only if you were looking for it, but, like, there were a couple of side characters, so, like, really not that important people in the story. They all had the same name. Like, if you go back into early books, like, we have a lot of Franks, we have a lot of Pauls.
Yeah, like the security guard, Frank, the guy at the diner, Paul,
Pauls,
and then the next book, just
Frank.
reversed.
Frank, Paul, that you would find a lot of little things like that if you were
Yeah.
specifically looking for it. And this helps with that because I'll go back and say, "Well, we just had Frank." We've gotta have somebody else.
Let's go
Yeah,
down the alphabet, pick
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. Okay, I also wanna talk about Call Me Anytime because I was howling through
Aw.
this. I was like, "This is just not a world that I am part of, right, in any sense." So, it's just hilarious. How did this idea come up? Actually, I'll have you, share the premise and then how this idea came about.
Okay, so Call Me Anytime is about a young girl named Hannah. She's like mid-20s, and she is kinda down and out. She's also a virgin. She is taking care of her mother who has early o onset Alzheimer's, and she loses her job, and she thinks she's going on a telemarketing job interview. It ends up being a phone sex hotline, and the money was just too good to pass up. So she takes the job. Her first caller was a man who she believes is role playing as, like, a detective. He wants to, like, role play a detective scene. And that same night, that man shows up at her door because he is a real detective, and he's investigating a murder that is related to the phone sex hotline that she now works at. So, yeah, it's quite a premise.
I'm just giggling to myself, like, remembering some of the, conversations, the
Oh,
dialogue, it's I'm guessing from, like, the look on your faces that it was just a great time, right?
it
And
was
you're probably reading each other's and just laughing to yourself.
Yes. There are
y
still scenes that we read that, I mean, we laugh every single time.
yeah.
And it's funny because, I could not tell you the exact way that that premise came
I
to be.
can't either.
The idea itself was a long time,
Yeah.
coming. The phone
I
sex
think we would just
hotline, the
really yeah,
virgin, the
we like the idea of a virgin working a phone sex hotline, but, like, not in a cliche way, because 'cause I'm sure that's been done before.
Mhm,
Um, we wanted, like, a fresh take on it. We wanted it to be like she is not even intending to be there, and she's there. Life circumstances have brought her there, and we like the idea of the first caller being the guy, but
mhm,
we're like, it wouldn't just be some random man calling in to a phone sex hotline.
mhm.
No, it's a detective.
Mhm. Yep, and then once we get a basis of the idea that, okay, he's gonna be a cop, he's gonna be calling for
Mhm.
this reason, then it's a runaway train for us because like she said earlier, the brainstorming portion is by far
It's
our
our
favorite.
that's our favorite.
I'm still laughing to myself. I'm, like, not gonna be able to talk because
Yeah.
do you I'm sure you get flooded with people that read it and say, "Oh my gosh, I loved it," da 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 da, all the DMs now with all the social media. How do you even run through all of them? Do you see all of them? Ho how do
We
you deal with
try
it?
really hard.
Yes,
Um, that is to say, I know there's stuff we miss, which I feel terrible about. I hope nobody ever takes that personally if we don't see something, um, because it is just me and my gal. Really,
yeah,
only at this point, we are the only point people in there, so maybe people will feel that that's both good and bad, because it is. If you're talking to somebody, you are talking to one of us, at least at this point. It's just us.
yeah.
But that means we have a certain amount of bandwidth of what we can get through, even though our real effort is to get through everything. To see every post that someone shares, to comment on everything, to share things when we can, to be responding to messages. But we are also juggling our families and many, many deadlines. So
Yeah,
as well as all the other load of the job, because if you're really involved in this, you know that writing the books is a tremendously small portion of the career. So yeah, I mean, we try. We really do try. I hope people can feel that from us. But yeah, I'm sure there are times that we miss some things.
I'm sure,
But
yeah.
we're still very, very appreciative to every person who takes the time to send us a message or post something or share something. We can't tell you how much it means to us every time.
And I think it's like social media has its, pros and cons, but the fact that we were able to connect and people are
Mhm.
able to connect with the authors that, write the books that we love, I think that's a huge thing. And to be able to see more about you, right? For you to be able to share your life and story and like heart behind your writing, I think it's fantastic. So I love
Us
it. I
too.
love it.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you I know you do a hybrid version of, self-publishing and, traditional publishing. How does that come about of which ones go which route?
Ooh, it just depends on the book.
I was gonna say,
Um,
yeah, I
yeah,
think sometimes we have a notion, right? Okay, so we're writing this with something specific in mind. Maybe it's that we've talked with a publisher or we are working with them on a certain type of series or book or whatever. And we say, okay, this is what they're wanting and this is what we're writing. So that's a good fit. We should try to make that work versus, keeping it an indie book. And sometimes it's not as thought out as that. It's like write a book and oh, just so happens that we sold that one or, something like that. So it's really sometimes it's very planned, sometimes it's not. It's getting to be more of a plan. I'll say that because we used to be very moment to moment gals in that we were finishing a book, it was publishing. We were finishing a book, it was published. I mean, obviously after going through its process, edits and all of the things, right? But it was that one's done, it's going straight to market once it gets through its process. Um, Now we are way more long term in our thinking, in our workload. So our schedule is pretty much set through next year, through the end of 2027. We know what's happening. And so, in some cases, even possibly what's happening in 2028. And in a lot of cases, we have those books already happening, you know? So It's getting to be where we have more of a thought out process where it's like, okay, well, this one is indie, this one is with this publisher that gives us whatever kind of benefit that working with them does, because they all give different benefits or,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, widespread paperback distribution in stores that we can't do on our own with an indie title. This is a great title for that. It makes sense to have it with a publisher. Um, it's just that sort of, nuance, the boring stuff that, like, as a reader, maybe you're like, "What are you even talking about?" But to us, that's how we end up making the decisions, and they're becoming more and more thoughtful, planned decisions as time goes on.
I love it. Are you ready for some quick fire questions before we wrap?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is your always get you on the dance floor song?
Ooh. Baby Got Back.
Ooh,
Where Oh, man, that's tough.
I mean, listen, there's a million songs, but this one is the one that's
Really?
gonna get me out there
even if you're
immediately.
tired, like, "Oh, okay, I gotta go."
Can't turn me down, that's the one
Yeah.
that's gonna do it.
I'm gonna say the song we named my daughter after, Gloria. It's an '80s song. Yeah, that one always, always.
I love it. Mine is September. I don't know what the old soul, I am also an old
Yeah,
soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is one thing you love doing just for you?
I need more
like,
hobbies.
what did I do just for me?
One
Take a
thing I love
shower.
I know, it's gonna be like a hot bath.
That's okay, that's totally legit. I love them
No,
too.
okay, I get my nails done. That's more recent that
Yeah,
I really tried to start keeping it up because it's one of the only things I maintain regularly, and I
yeah,
didn't used to. It used to be, like, one time, and then they're growing out to the ether, you
that's
know?
me right now.
So, but that is one thing, I get my nails done. These are my Valentine's nails.
Oh, those are cute.
Cute, I
I
love it.
still have nail polish on my toes from our July tour.
That used to be me.
It's winter, right? So people don't see it.
Remind you. Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I do like to just go grab a coffee just for myself. So that's probably one thing I consistently do. I try to be better with the self-care stuff. Like, sometimes I'll get my eyelashes, like, tinted and curled. We both used to do the fake
The
eyelashes, which are
extensions.
the extensions.
Mhm,
Those are a blast to have, but we both got allergic reactions to the glue. So, I usually do the tint and curl, and I do love that. That's like having permanent mascara on.
mhm.
Both of you had allergic you guys
Yes,
are, like, so in sync.
we were both doing it for 2 years, I think, like, regularly keeping up with it because we loved it. We loved it, and then it was, like, the only thing we did again. So but then, yeah, we're both like, "My eyes are
Like Yeah,
gonna have to give it up."
we had to give it up. Then you tried it one more
I
time and
did.
you're
I was
like,
like, "Let me just see. I'm gonna take a long break, and then I'm gonna try nope."
yeah, and the problem is when you do it for that long, when you when all of the lashes fall off, your eyelashes are like nubs. There's, like, none left. There's nothing. It takes a good year for them to grow back to normal. Yeah.
Wow, I'm like, I have not been blessed with, fun eyelashes. I don't know why all the boys seem to get the nice eyelashes,
They do. Yes.
They do. My 15-year-old has fantastic eyelashes.
and they
But
curl.
he was at the eye doctor and his eyelashes were getting in the way. His luscious, gorgeous eyelashes. I'm like,
I know.
"What what is
These
going on
boys.
here?"
Give them to the girls.
I know. I know.
What is something that you always try to do together as a family, and especially with teenagers and conflicting schedules with things, what do you all try to do together as a family?
I mean, for us, it's dinner. We definitely always try to have dinner together a couple times a week. I mean, every day if we can, and my son plays basketball. So there's times we're even eating a little bit later, but all together. So I would say that's our really consistent thing.
Same. I would like, there's other things that we pop in every
Yeah.
once in a while, I guess, but the dinner is the fairly consistent thing where we all try to be electronic free, including myself, not on our phones, like actually speaking to one another. We we laugh. I tell my oldest son especially, like, we haven't seen you, so you're gonna get everything right now. It's like we're gonna talk about all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dinner is a huge thing for us too. I'm like, TV is off, like all the devices. My kids don't have devices yet, but when they do in the future, I know that's going to be a thing, but they get checked over there. Right. So I love
Mhm.
that. Anything else you want to leave with our readers, listeners, before we part?
We do have a new series that we are publishing, like, novella style, coming out this spring. That's an indie thing. It is a wild ride. It's something we've never done before, and I think that's one thing that we are kinda doing with some of our indie releases is we're like, if there's something that just feels like we really wanna write it, and even though we've never written that before, we're like, "Let's do it." Like, let's just do it. Let's do the passion project. So, yeah, that one I would definitely be on the lookout for. We haven't finalized release dates, but it's sometime early spring, and, yeah, it is very unexpected.
Yeah, I would challenge readers to go, I mean, nicely. I would really ask,
Yeah.
"Please come with us," because it's got some elements that are so maybe off brand, right, from what we
Yeah.
normally do, but we're writing it. So it's written like we write things, right? And we that is still the same. So I would say, like, give it a chance, come with us. I
Yep.
think you're really gonna enjoy it.
Yes. It's romance.
It is, yes,
Rom
it's not
Yeah.
totally off genre. I should have said off sub-genre, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I Early spring is coming soon, so
It
I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. We'll have all the links, but can you share where can people connect with you further if they want to connect with you?
Website is the easiest, authormaxmonroe.com, and that has all the links for, like, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, our newsletter. You can sign up for that there, and yeah, that's probably the easiest
It's
place
a
to
great
find us.
hub to
Yeah.
find anything else that you might like. If your thing
Yes.
is Instagram, the link is there. If your thing is TikTok, the link is that you could find us anywhere in our little channels that you might want. That's a great hub.
Yes.
And it's just them. So if you're talking to someone via email or Instagram or whatever,
Yeah. It's
if
us.
they like your things, it's them.
Yeah.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. And everybody go check out the
You.
books. It just brings joy into your lives.
Thank
Thank you. Thank
you.
you so much for having us.
Yeah, this was so much fun.